Good morning. Welcome to my studio. I'm Mary Corrado from Mary Corrado Interiors here in Portland, Oregon. And today let's work on some really basic how-tos on gilding. I am going to show you the different colors of leaf that Amy Howard has in her studio. The leaf that you can purchase from Amy Howard at home is silver leaf. You can purchase the sterling silver leaf. This is actual sterling silver. Amy has the gold leaf, which obviously is an imitation gold, and a copper leaf. So I'm going to go through all four of these and show you how to apply them, how to antique them, and the colors that you may want to use them on. Okay, so let me turn my camera down and we will get started. So we need to start with Amy's gilding size. This is a thin white glue that looks very runny, but it is the glue that you use for the leaf to adhere to. So what I'm going to do is just apply my gilding size. Just make a nice even coat. So we can do a couple different colors at one time. Now, while we are doing all of this, it would be great to hear from you. If you want to come on and say hi, tell us where you're from. And if you tag 3 friends, you know that you will go into a drawing and you can win your own leaf, package of leaf from Amy Howard. Okay, so here I'm going to add some silver leaf. So once again, you take your book, peel it back so that you're holding it in place. Apply it, peel the paper back, and burnish. Now I'm going to just take some of this off straight from here, overlap, and burnish. You always want to overlap when you're adding your leaf so that you don't get gaps between. And from here I can just kind of peel off some of this. And then carefully brush the excess. Now the beauty of real leaf versus imitation painted on or whatnot is you get that beautiful line where you can see the seam. Can you see that? Like if you see a real gold leafed mirror, you can tell it's real leaf when it has that seam right there. So beautiful. Okay, so there's the silver. Now on this one, I'm going to add sterling silver, and I'm going to show you how to finish that off. Now this is real sterling silver. You do want to be careful with this one. You do not want to get fingerprints on this. So be very aware. Here's your little book. The sterling silver is a little bit smaller. But this will tarnish if you touch it, just like your sterling silverware or your sterling pieces. Okay, so now what we do is we will add it to this area. Okay, hold it. Pull it back and add. Take another strip. We're just going to have to let the excess be on this. Hold it back. Add it and burnish. And one more. And burnish. We're now going to take our chippy brush again and go ahead and just work off the excess. It is so fine. Do not do this if you have a fan on or if you're in a kind of a breezy area. It will fly all over. Okay. I'm going to show you without having antiqued anything yet.
There's your imitation silver, and there's your sterling silver. So really, you can't see much of a difference. But one thing you will notice a difference is when we antique this, which I'm going to do next.
To antique it, you want to use Amy Howard's Antique Mirror Solution and Antique Solution Zinc. We will first put some zinc on our sterling, and then we will use some of this solution to turn it into a tarnished silver. So you take a rag and you take your zinc. You can use gloves when you want to do this if you want to. You can pour it into a cup. I tend to just kind of pour a bit onto a rag. You can always pour it into a cup, dip your rag in, and apply. Or just pour some on your rag. And we are going to apply it to the sterling. Now, you're not going to see anything happen at this point. It's once we do the next step is where you're going to start to see something happen. Okay? So what you do is you take your antiquing solution, pour some into a small spray bottle. This is just a Dollar Tree little makeup sprayer. I poured about 40% antiquing solution and the rest water. And this is where the magic happens. So for now, I am going to cover the silver. I don't think this would affect it anyway, but I just wanted to be sure. So now I am going to spray with mists in. Just spray it on. And you will start to see it start to turn. It will turn dark. It will turn brown. You can do as much or as little as you want. Do you see how that's turning tarnished looking compared to the silver? It gives it a much, much warmer color. Yeah, you can. It's definitely working on there. There you go. Okay, from here, we can then use our 4/0 steel wool. And we are going to rub these back. Okay, I'm going to start with the silver. And this part is totally up to you. Just depends however you want this to end up? Do you want it bright and shiny?
Or if you want it more antiqued and rubbed away, use the steel wool.
Now we will rub back. Start kind of softly and gently so that you get the feel of how much is coming off. You may not want that much to come off. You can always go back.
And there's some with the antiquing. Okay. Now, from here I am going to add, on this stripe, this will be a gold leaf, but I'm going to add my Frankly Scarlet one-step paint as my imitation buhl on the piece. So let's get this red on here. Take a clean brush. I'm going to paint this on. You probably will want 2 coats, so we'll make sure to let this dry. But the beauty of this is it will show through when you antique the gold. And so this will give you that authentic, antiqued gold gild on your piece. Now on this one, I want to put copper leaf. So to use the copper leaf, I want to paint the base Windsor brown. Because copper is such a beautiful warm color, it's lovely if you start with a brown base underneath, and then you can go from there. So I am going to give you a Windsor brown base on this one. I want to let these dry. I'm going to do 2 coats and I'll be back to add the other. Now that these are dry, let's add our gilding size. Just brush on like we've done. Let's make sure this dries and comes to tack. Just going to help that along a little bit. Can you hear that? That means it's ready. It's come to tack. It's ready to accept the leaf. And this one, we are adding our gold leaf. So let's add her next. Oops. I'm going to take some of this, and I'm going to, well, fell in place for me. I'm just going to now burnish that down. Take a piece of tissue. And burnish that down. Let's brush away the excess. There's our gold leaf. Now I'm going to, let's go straight to the copper leaf and we can come back and wear away both of them at the same time. We will add our size. And if you're doing a piece of furniture, you also want to work in sections, because if you put too much size on a big area,
most likely you will not get to it in time before it dries. So give yourself plenty of time to work and without having to rush. Okay, now that that is dry, let's get our copper leaf. I will show you what that looks like.
This is kind of a right in between the gold and silver
With a bit more red tone. Like a shiny copper penny. Just going to take this excess and I'm going to add it here. Okay, now if you do your leafing before your gilding size is dry, your gilding size will never dry under your leaf. So you want to absolutely make sure that you are being extremely careful that you are not too soon on the size. There you go. Now let's start to age this. Let's get out our 4/0 steel wool again and just start to rub it back. Kind of rub off the edges.
You can see how that tones it down a bit. Okay, let's peel off the tape and we will continue to age this with waxes.
Now, of course, you realize you don't just have to use it on black. You can use it gilding on any color of one-step paint that you would like.
But there you are before the waxing. Okay, let's move on to our light and dark wax and we'll go from there. You always start with the light wax. You add just a tiny bit of the dark wax. It's usually about a 20% of dark wax. So to start with the light wax, you use your brush that is only for light wax. So you load up your light wax. Always have a piece of cardboard handy and you offload. You want the wax evenly distributed on your brush. You don't want too thick. You now want to seal the gilding with wax. Now, if you didn't want to use wax, you could use a matte sealer, but I like the wax. I think it just gives it such a beautiful sheen afterwards. Just kind of depends on your project. Okay, just want to kind of make sure it's everywhere. You'll be able to feel it on there. You want this to come to tack. So when it comes to tack, it won't feel slimy, but it won't move. It won't feel greasy. Okay, next we take our dark wax, our dark wax brush, load up, offload well,
And what we're going to do is start on edges. And then just lightly go over everything.
Let's let this come to tack and then we will buff it up.
Okay, now that it has come to tack, let's get our rag, a clean rag, and just hit drag. Buff it like a shoe.
And there you have it. Sterling silver, gold with the red buhl underneath. This is copper with a Windsor brown underneath. And this is the silver leaf. You decide on what gilding you would like to use. Make sure that you assess the colors that you're using. The silver looks beautiful on cooler tones. The copper is perfect with some warmer tones. The gold tends to work on blacks and or creams, plus the warmer tones. And the sterling silver works on both the cooler and the warmer tones because it tends to run both ways. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It's your basics of gilding with different leaf metals. These are taking your pieces of furniture up to the next level. They are absolutely beautiful. So have fun practicing. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned from it. If you have any questions, please jot it down. We are happy to answer any questions, and enjoy the process, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.